Just
Hey guys, this is Chris, just jumping on real quick. The joys of living in California and our ever-aging and crumbling infrastructure. Renny has an internet outage again today in his whole neighborhood. Neighbor confirmed it doesn't work over there either. So we are stuck. Hold on a second.
Thanks.
Never mind, I lied, everybody. It came back. So come back.
That was 30 minutes of pure trying to figure everything out, and then one last second. So it hopefully we don't lose it midway.
Well, hopefully. Well, cool. Well, hey, I like your shirt.
You like that? Pretty cool. Cool. So, hey, man. Good morning, everybody. Renny Doyle podcast. Chris, what's up?
We putting out a little fire this morning. So, and glad that we got on here though. So, everything else is good. I got in the house last night at about 11 o'clock. I worked on that darn Charger I'm working on out there.
Wide body.
Wide body. Yeah, it's all black, like black. It's brand new.
How's the paint on it?
It's correcting well. It wasn't too bad, but I'm doing a two-step on it because the goal is to get it perfect. The whole thing is going to get PPF from no detail.
Oh,
so
wow.
I'm getting it ready for that. And it was pretty good. It's Lake Country Wool Pad and Last Cut Plus.
Cool.
And then 0406 and a white pad from one of our favorite old pad manufacturers. And it looks fantastic. So
that's awesome. So, hey, you notice anything different?
You mean like the gray chin pubes?
Yeah. You're right. You know what this is called? You know what color this is? It's called wisdom. It's called wisdom.
Wisdom, huh?
Wisdom white. Yeah. So, I grew it out when we were on our trip up to the rag company. So I had a chance. And I said, well, I'm going to grow. I'm not going to shave it today. I don't get to keep facial hair too often. So
yeah, and I see you're wearing the cap.
Wearing the cap is cold.
Keeping the head shaved.
Keep the head shaved. Shaves head. The head shaved. Never miss a day. Never miss a day. It grows fast. What's left is it's like corn. It's just isolated corn now. Those parts of the ground's just no good anymore.
Jimmy Buffett writes he thought it was something on his phone screen.
Right? Like, wow. Yeah, it's pure again, wisdom, man. Wisdom. I haven't grown it out this long in a long time. Just usually can't. So, well, cool. Well, we had a good time up at Rag Company last week, and we took a little sidetrack and went and did. We went and worked and went and skied, and I had one of the most anybody that if there's people from Idaho, one of the most terrifying drives of my entire life. On last Friday, we're coming down Highway 55. There's and when the guy at the hotel says, "You guys sure you just don't want to stay here until this blizzard ends?" If anybody at a hotel tells you that, go ahead and stay there. We learned a lesson. So we're coming down the highway, we're cruising, and I've got mud trains on the shop truck, right? And they usually do pretty good. We drive in snow all the time up here, right? But we don't drive in blizzard snow. And when a Subaru goes around the corner, and when you come around the corner and the Subaru's sideways, and nobody else is really awake in the car, so I don't want to say anything. So I slow it down, and we get down to where there was, and solid black ice, and I'm sideways. Didn't crash it, was able to keep it on, but I went down. I promised God that if we got down the hill safely, I was going to go put better tires on that do better in snow. So the guy gives me a price, and he goes, these tires, because man, you got 37s on this thing, they're not cheap. And I said, you know what? For what I did, I now that you give me a price, I'd pay $1,000 a tire for that.
Huh? Yeah, I saw that bill come through. They weren't cheap.
They weren't cheap, but man, do they ride good, and man, do they grab better. So that was, it was, it was hairball.
So where did you ski, and what was your favorite spot?
Oh, well, we started out Tamarack, up in Donnelly, Idaho. Then we came back down to Boise, did a little more business. Then we went over where Detailing Success really launched, was over in Sun Valley, Idaho. So we skied a couple days up at Tamarack in Donnelly, and then a couple days over in Sun Valley. Favorite? 2 different experiences. We had powder days over at Donnelly, and it was pretty hard to beat. That mountain's a newer mountain. So I think, don't quote me on this, I think it's the newest ski area in America, North America. And so it was pretty cool. We took our daughter and her boyfriend, and he had never skied on any big mountain stuff, and he was, Tamarack blew him away. But when we got to Sun Valley, he was just like in awe, because it's just such a huge mountain. But it was cool. Got a lot of good skiing in, a lot of fun, and got some work done. Got to see some good friends up there, and got to see a couple detailers. I wish we could have seen a lot more, but that was a total last minute trip.
Yeah, no, it was. Did Idaho change a lot for you?
No. I mean, Haley, Sun Valley is always kind of on the move, but a lot more traffic in Idaho than when we lived there, because of all the California. A lot more hate on Californians. So we saw a lot of people that basically protesting the amount of Californians moving up. I don't think Steve said it best. It's not that they're protesting Californians. They're protesting the Californians that bring their junk with them. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Is that you're escaping California for a reason. And, don't try to change where you're going, and, instead, enjoy where you're going. Idaho's such an amazing state, and the outdoor opportunities are huge, but it was, then we came back, we left and came back on Sunday, Monday, and we got up in the morning. Oh, dang, it was cold. So it was, wow. I remember those days of going out and picking up cars or going out and working on jets, and it was like, whoa. I mean, I used to work every day, 5 days a week in this cold weather, and I'm just not that tough anymore.
Yeah, well, me either.
Yeah, I need to be. But, well, hey, let's jump into it. So kind of today's topic, and hopefully you've got some input on this, is that I never want to say I should have. I always want to say I'm glad I did. And I'm really lucky that I don't have a lot of regrets, but there's things that I wish I would have listened to people, or somebody would have said to me. So I'm going to be blunt with all of you right now today, and just go for it. So I put comfort zones into 3 categories: personal, business, and joy. And the reason why joy is there, well, could you kind of consider that personal? No, personal is like family, and like your commitment to your spouse, your significant other, your children, extended family, and so forth. And then business is what, most of us are here for right now. And then joy is what brings joy to you personally. What brings joy to you as a human being, as a woman or as a man. What do you have in your life that's bringing you joy? Because let me tell you, if all you do is the first 2 is just personal and business, I mean, there's some people that cut out for that. And so I'm not going to say you're going to be miserable, but it didn't do too well for me, of just trying to take and give. And I became very, I wasn't in a good spot when I didn't find joy in my own life for my own reason. Now, there's a lot of people out there that, and I'm not saying it's wrong at all. And I'm not, I'm not saying my way of viewing is wrong. It's just your individual. I just found that I've got to have some escapes to really be happy. And, I put a lot of time into my family, was at the majority of their events and still am. I've got soccer thing on Friday with our daughter Darren, and then I've got to take her to a physical on Saturday. I love those times because it's cool to see her joy and to be able to help her find that joy. So before I start into this, let's get into some discussion of what the above needs. First off, ignorance on fire. I'm going to get into things and tell you to charge into things today. But what I don't mean to do is to do it without being smart about it. I call it ignorance on fire. I can't remember who taught me that term. I was young, and they'd say, listen, you charge into business and you just go do it. Hey, and I hear a lot of people, a lot of the gurus, hey, just go do it. No, go do it smartly. Is that you can't do it with ignorance. You've got to do it and really think it out. And a lot of people just don't do that. Is they just jump into things and then they wonder why they failed at it. Whether that be a relationship, whether that be a business, whether that be parenthood, whether that be buying something and not really thinking it out, and all these good things. You got to seek advice. If you're starting a business and you're putting some money into it, well, you better be talking to a CPA from day one. Matter of fact, way before day one. Before you start spending that money, you better find out, where that money, the categories, how it's going to go, if it's deductible, how to make it deductible, all these things. So with that, there's a lot of people that like to play happy. We all see that Facebook and that shit's it's all over the place. They like to play happy, and I like happy people, but a lot of people that you see that are in business are playing happy, but deep down, when you get to meet them, they got struggles just like you and me, and it's a shame because we live in an age now where is that we've got these social media platforms where people can go out and all put smiles on and stuff like that. And then people judge themselves against them. And they're like, well, why am I not like that? Why am I not that? And there's truly, I'm a happy person, but I've got crappy days. I just about crapped all over Chris's day this morning. You could tell he was not happy when I called him. There was nothing I could do about it, and believe me, that's a persistence. I didn't stop, dude. I kept going, man. I wanted to be on this call today. Chris and I both got a theory that if one person gets something out of one of our podcasts, it's worth it. And we're real fortunate that we get a lot of you guys that will send us stuff and thank us for, hey, I said that or this. I don't care if it's 3,000 or if it's one. To me, if one person gets it, it makes it worth our time. And Chris and I really mean that. But a lot of people like to play happy. So don't get yourself all wrapped around the axle because other people seem to be happy. There's a lot of happy people out there, but also there's a lot of bullshit going on to where people are saying they're successful when they're not. They're saying they're happy when they're not. Listen, Diane and I have been together for 25 years. There's a lot more good days. There's very few bad days, but there's times in those 25 years that there's been some rough periods. There's been some rough roads. And thank God we just learned at a young age that you just hang on because the road's going to smooth out. But a lot of people are going through that and they're projecting something they're not. Now, another thing, a lot of people like to play business. They like to play and go in and call themselves an entrepreneur. And really, they're struggling, man. And struggle is good if you use it right. Again, that's part of it is that I never want to say I should have. Struggles suck, but do they really suck? Because if you look at it and you can analyze it and you can do an AAR, an after action report on it and kind of learn from it, guess what? I look back at some of my biggest struggles. Me and a buddy in Idaho were talking about that when I was up there. And man, when we met each other, 25 years ago, is we were both really just cranking it out and trying to build, our lives into something. And, we can't tell you how many times that would have been really easy to quit, but we didn't. But a lot of people don't go there. They play business. And again, don't compare yourself to other people that are playing business. Some people are playing, some people are doing. Usually the big mouths out there, the talkers out there that are just flipping money out and doing all this shit, they're the ones that are playing. They're not serious. I like to watch and listen to the quiet ones. And again, a lot of people want to be, this is funny. This is going into my joy. They want to be Bear Giles. They want to be something, and I say that for those that don't know him, he's an outdoor dude. He's on TV. He's the real deal. But a lot of people want to get their, big hunting knife out and strap it to their side and go rappel down a waterfall on a rope and, all this and that. And listen, man, I do a lot of that. I mean, I'm real fortunate that what I do on the side is real adventurous. That's part of my joy up there. And I like hanging it out, but I can tell you that dude's got a lot of training behind him. He's good. He's put a lot of time in the outdoors and he's learned it. And it's just like anybody that's in business that is not playing business, they're doing business. They've paid the price, man. You got to pay the price. Don't be afraid to go and do it and never say that, man, I wish I would have done that. Too many macho people out there. There's too many people that are male, female, doesn't matter, that, man, dude, lose your machoism. Is connect with people. Don't be afraid to take and put your guard down and just be a person. That goes along hand in hand with this next one is there's a lot of egos that are out there that just that keep you from really getting to know people. And when you make decisions off of your ego is man, it's dangerous, dude. And again, I've been guilty of this. My ego's got out of check and I bought shit with my ego. The right car, the right house, the right whatever it is, the right clothing, the right watch, it's stupid shit, man. And it goes in hand with the ego and the macho and just love it. So here's one thing that I'm going to leave in this segment right here is say I love you to those who deserve it and say it often. Now, the new trend I've seen, and maybe it's just me, but everybody tells everybody that they love them. And if you come up to me and you say that you love me and I don't say it back, it doesn't mean I don't like you. It just means that I respect the word love so much that I'm not going to say it until it's right, until I really mean it. There's different levels of love, but love is so available right now. But I like a lot of people, but to love everybody is that I got to get to know you. I got to get to trust you a little bit, and a lot actually. And maybe I'm just hard, maybe I'm old school, but I think that term's overused. But then again, on the flip side of this, a lot of y'all just don't show emotions to each other at all. And once there's some macho people that are my good friends that have been, military, police, fire, business, really successful, and we're mushy as hell with each other. And don't be afraid to do that. But if you come up to me and you try to get mushy and we're not there yet, I'm just not that easy. And so, it's simple as that. So now let's go on to another one. Become risky. Well, what does this mean? Is that, I'll tell you, is growing up the way that I grew up, and I know a lot of people grew up a lot tougher than I did, is risk to me. My family it was go get a career and get your gold watch at 30 years and just be happy with what you have. And I didn't sit well with that. I didn't want to have a job. I wanted to take and get and expand and spread my wings. Now what I do in my personal life is I also like to put risk in there. Is that if I'm really stressed, you'll see me put pictures up of me going, cross country, and I choose some pretty challenging routes. I don't climb as much as I used to, so to say, but I still do stuff that normal people, serious mountaineers, would probably. It's just a workout for them, and it is for me also. But I don't want to hang it out to where I get totally hurt, but I don't mind being bruised up and cut up a little bit. And so I think in my personal life, what that's done for me personally, and I'm not telling you guys again, go out and be bear and get crazy. But for me, when whether it's, I don't know, you go out and you play a sport and it's a little bit physical and it demands that you get, maybe you fall, maybe you get beaten up or something a little bit. But I just think that anytime I've done that is it helps me realize that business isn't that hard and life's not that hard. And again, every time, even skiing this last week, is that I was talking to our 16-year-old daughter, and we're talking about skiing, and I said, I just don't ski as hard as I used to. And she's like, yeah, Dad, I'm 16. I can't keep up with you. And so I also got to realize that doing that is a lot of business people can't still. Younger guys can't keep up with me because I've gone so hard so long. I'm used to it. And so I think that's really important that you do that. So now become risky for the lazy you. Get up and, God, all of us have lazy times, and let those times be very, very, very seldom. If you find yourself getting lazy, is that think about what you need to do and go do it. And that way, the next day, you don't say to yourself, damn, I should have done that. There's nothing that drives it drives me wacky if I know I should have done something yesterday and I wake up the next morning and I didn't do it. And so get that mentality going with you. If you're in a bad relationship, is fix the bad relationship. Listen, today relationships are disposable. Don't try to get out of the relationship unless it's just really that shitty, and then go. But if try to fix it, try to do it. And then when it's not, move on, man. You don't like where you live, move. You don't like the house you're in, get a new one. Is you got to set those goals out. But if you don't do it now, if you just sit back and if you paralysis by analysis and you just watch the world go by and you keep saying, man, I wish I had a different boyfriend or girlfriend. I wish I lived in a different city. I wish I lived in a different state. I can't stand this house. And you just keep talking about it. Well, it's just talk. Is that you got to go out and you got to be with who you want to. You need to be the person you are. You need to be with the person that you want to be with. You need to live where you want to live, and you got to go make it happen. You got to take a chance, and you got to hang it out there. Go ahead, Chris.
The laziness, comes from a lack of motivation, right? So you gotta identify what's going to motivate you to accomplish those goals and make those changes. And
absolutely.
Part of that is identifying what's holding you back and possibly eliminating that from your life too.
Chris and I, we get together every year, which we need to finish that up. Hopefully this week, Chris, is our plans for this year. We just got a few little things we got to straighten up. But, I opened up to Chris and I had some things holding me back. Right, Chris? I shared it with you. And it's funny because, those items, once I addressed them and I shared it with Chris and Diane, those items, I won't tell you they're fixed, but they're damn near fixed. And it's going to be a life changer for me. And so you need and let me tell you, is I've been I've been poor. I was born into not wealth at all. Although I had a lot of love around me, money wise, love wise, I was wealthy as hell. Money wise, I wasn't. I wasn't at the bottom of the barrel, but I was on top of the curb, as I like to say. And so I've been there, and I've been comfortable, and I can tell you that both come with their own set of problems. And I sure like the problems that comes with having security financially better than the ones that come with having poor. But I also tell you this: I wouldn't give up the relationship. There's time in my life where I got a little dark and I got in a bad spot, and that's not a happy me. That's the me I'm not very proud of, and I don't want to ever go back there. And thank God it was only for a chapter of my life. So, here's the deal: is that a lot of us, most of us, and I'm gonna tell you straight out, most of us have a fence post up our butts. And the reason why I got a fence post up our butts is we sit on those fences in life, and very few of us jump off and go after things we want. So as a guy, I made a deal with Diane 10 years ago that she came to me and she goes, listen, man, you do all this stuff, search and rescue, you're really into the outdoors, hardcore skiing, motorcycles, you like to drive fast, off-roading, and the motorcycles scare me. And she goes, I really want you to give up the bikes. And I said, well, I'll tell you what, if you'll stop smoking, I'll give up the motorcycle. And so we did. I had a street bike and I had a KTM, and the street bike scared me more than the KTM, but I got hurt more on the dirt bike than I did on the street bike. but I had more close calls on the street bike. So I got rid of them. Well, a couple years ago, I found out Diane's been a closet smoker. So I went and bought a new. It's a total cruiser's trail bike. I mean, it goes 0 to 50 in like 3.9 days. It's not fast, but it will pretty much go anywhere off road, and I love it. And so I just decided for an instant, get off the fence and go get a realistic bike that you can still enjoy, but you're not going to get hurt on. And I did it. The other things that is sitting there and joining search and rescue is it was something that really intrigued me. At the time, I knew nothing about search and rescue. And it's amazing on how that is probably one of the biggest parts of my life ever. And I got off the fence and went and did it. Just recently, something we needed to hire on some professionals to take over something that was really stressing me out in the company. And I held on to that for 30 years. And finally, we used to have somebody help out a little bit, but now we're completely giving it over to them. And it took that long to get off the fence. I have a fence post sticking in my butt. Why didn't I get off that sooner? Is that I always thought it was going to be expensive. And this is a lesson I want all you to learn, is that it's on the financial side. We've hired somebody to completely take over our finances, our growth, strategies, all the way to paying the bills, to advising us where to put our money, how to save money on taxes, and then invest good investments, right? Make sure that we're going into the right real estate at the right time, making sure that we're starting up all kinds of things I didn't even know about. And really, it's quite affordable. I won't call it cheap because it's not, but it's not expensive. And if you look at what they're going to save us on that, is that it's really going to pay for itself over the long haul. And so there's an example of me just being direct on things in my own life that I sat on the fence for too long.
Another thing you sat on the fence about was getting your name on some of those bottles of product out there.
Yeah, great point.
Now it's five years later already, right?
Yeah, boy, I wish I could show this one box that's sitting right by me. Soon enough. So I'll never forget, Chris. There used to be a commercial, and I don't know if any of you guys remember this. And it was Harley Davidson commercial. And there's a grandpa sitting up on his porch talking to his grandson. And he goes, "Yes, yeah, Bobby, the feeling of the wind hitting you in the face, going down the road, the rev of the motor." And his grandson looks at him. He goes, "Wow, Grandpa, I didn't know you owned a Harley Davidson." He goes, "Yeah, Billy, I didn't." He says, "I bought siding for the house instead." And, it was such a great commercial because you could see like 40 and 50-year-olds all over the country going, "Shit, I'm not buying siding. I'm going to go buy a Harley," because it hit it right between the eyes. And, I've got that mistake. My house isn't perfect because I keep buying other shit that I like to go out and that's entertaining, And so, I was talking to a skier randomly up in Sun Valley, pretty hardcore mountain. And the guy, we ended up knowing each other from, 20 something years ago. He still skis 70 days a year. He's 57 years old, hardcore dude, skis like you wouldn't believe. I mean, we're coming down and everybody's just turning around watching because it's just hardcore, right? We're having a blast. We're just tearing it up. And so, he's telling me, he says, I could give up this. And he says, and like own a bigger house, but like tomorrow I'm going helicopter skiing in the backcountry. And he goes, I take and save up all year for one helicopter trip a year. Well, to me, look at the memories, man. On his deathbed, is he gonna remember the new siding on his house? I don't even remember the color of my old houses. I mean, I just don't. I mean, I do if I think about it, but I'd have to think about it, And so here's this guy going out at almost 60 years old and tearing it up, helicopter skiing and skiing on one of the best mountains in the country, in the world for that matter, almost 70 days a year, or probably over 70 days by the end of the season. So most people, let's talk about that. So again, this goes right into the next one. Let's talk about, most people like safety, and they like to have around them what's comfy. You can be fired from your 9-to-5 job tomorrow. Listen, everybody says the risk of owning a business. There is no security. And this comes straight from Chris. Chris, you had a long career at the company. Well, talk about that a little bit.
I did. It was, 15 years I was with them, and, probably at least 5 years too long. And it came from being afraid to leave that security. You know, but the bottom line is they could have fired me at any time. And I've since realized that I find more comfort in knowing that I have some skills and knowledge where I can just run out and make money if I need to, without having to rely on, of course the economy's got to be okay. There's always that big looming cloud, but other than that, there's people that want the services I can provide, and I can just go out and find them and put some money in my pocket. And that's some security right there.
And here's the other thing. Yeah, the economy sucked, but let me tell you, every time what happens is everybody in an industry, when an economy hits, if the economy is hitting your industry, it's hitting everybody different ways. The unprepared individuals they're torn up in seconds. They're gone. So with that said, I mean, let's go back to this last episode with with COVID. We're all pretty prepared, and I want to say that we gained business out of this. Matter of fact, I don't want to say, I know we did. And so we came out stronger. 08, I was talking to some entrepreneurs a couple of weeks ago. 08 was such a different beast. But even then, of 08 being so scary and so long, it lasted so long, is that, once we got through the initial shock of it, we started gaining ground on our competition almost instantly. And we came out of 08 much stronger than we went in. And a lot of people that I know that's in the car care industry, they started during 08, 09, 2010, during those struggling years. And they've killed it because people in their markets weren't prepared, and they took over those markets. And so, everything comes down to being properly prepared. And then I love what you put here is comfort comes from knowing that you have the skills to go out and make a living on your own. Is, how many people are just totally stressed out and just, they hate what they do. Maybe even you hate what you do now as being self-employed. That's okay. Build it up successful, sell it, and get into the next thing. There's nothing that says that you can't take and use whatever you're doing as a stepping stone. I've always told people detailing is a great stepping stone. We've used it to catapult ourselves into other industries and owning different things and real estate and everything else. And, products, I mean, as Chris just alluded to, look at our relationship with P&S, and we've got, the double black line, the relationships we've got with the Phillips family, our entire P&S team is just amazing. That detailing catapulted us into that opportunity. And, it's the money's great, everything else, but the people we work with, man, it's incredible. I mean, look how lucky Chris is that he gets to deal with me every day, 5 days a week.
Yeah, my hair is gray too.
Yeah, exactly. At least it's not gone. So it's an example. I love waking up in the morning and working out first thing in the morning. I love it. Matter of fact, you can't see it now. My workout clothes are on, and as soon as we're done, finish another cup of coffee, go kiss my wife, come back, go to the gym for an hour, come back and work, and then I do my outdoor workout. And I go out and I just go for a walk with the dogs. And so I love to do that. But I'll tell you what, is that if I allow myself, Chris said it earlier, to be lazy, that nice comfy pillow and that blanket, and it's also warm underneath there and everything. If I think about that, man, it's going to suck me in. And so again, no regrets. Think of it. Okay, if I stay in bed right now, am I going to regret it tomorrow? Think about that short-term gain that you're going to get off of positives, and then think about the long-term gain that you're going to get off of negatives. What I mean by that is that, we're looking at right now, my truck just turned 6 years old. Is there a tax write-off for trucks? It's got high value because it's got low miles. Before I start having troubles with it, is it better just to go ahead and get a new one? And the answer is going to be, my CPA is going to tell me that. Is there a long-term benefit to having that versus having the truck paid off, but having to deal with maintenance issues and a little older truck. So you kind of see my mentality is even on those kind of things, I don't want to take and regret it. I don't make stupid, poor person decisions anymore. I try to make very intelligent, try to think like the wealthy do. Most successful people are very comfortable with discomfort. I've my entire life, I learned this. I've got one really major regret, and I did it as a teenager. And so much so, I don't really, it's one of the few things I don't share. Nothing bad. I quit on something. And I knew when I quit, and it was for a short period, I thought, Renny, just don't work that hard today. And I didn't, and it cost me. And I've ever since that day, now I was able to get it back, but I never truly got it back to the level if I just would have not quit for that very short time. If I would have just gone the distance the whole way instead of trying to get the easy way. And so I became very comfortable with being uncomfortable. And I want to tell you that if you're in business, you need to do that same thing. And however you do it, my way is outdoors. I try to spend this year, I'm going to try to do 40 nights underneath the stars. And I'm behind, already. But I'm going to do it because when you wake up, A, it's magical. You wake up and you see the sky. But B, when you do get back into that bed, it makes you appreciate it a lot more. Next, people like to talk about their ideas and brag about ideas, but a lot of people don't move on those ideas. They sit there and they talk about it. They brag about it almost like they're doing it, but it's not going anywhere. It's like a car going on top of jack stands, and you say, hey, I'm going to drive 120 miles an hour, but you put the car in jack stands and you rev it up to where it says it's going 120 miles an hour, but you're not going anywhere. You're cheating. And so, don't talk about your ideas. Matter of fact, share your ideas with few. Share your ideas, pass them by, because there's a cause and effect to everything. What's this going to do to, again, go back to those original categories. What's it going to do to your personal life, your business life, and your joy? Because everything you do has an effect to it. So is the cost going to be outweigh the gains? And so you got to look at it that way.
I see somebody in our industry that's constantly posting the next big thing they're working on and going to be doing and all that kind of stuff. And I never see it materialize. And so now it's kind of like the boy who cried wolf, right? I see the next one and it's like, yeah, that's not going to happen.
No, it is. And it's sad. And that's why, I come up with a lot of ideas. Some of them are brilliant. Some of them turn out to be not so brilliant. I always put them down. I'll share the ones that I think might turn into something. And then I put them on, we have a goal for this year, Diane and I, that I shared with, with Chris this year. And man, I'll tell you, a few years ago, I thought about it, but I just didn't know what it would mean to do it. And now we're going to do it. And again, so talk about a little, kind of keep it hush hush, because the average person doesn't understand us. Is that if you're doing entrepreneurship right, you're a dreamer, and you're a thinker, and you're a visionary. And if you start throwing out every idea you've got and sharing every idea, they're going to think you're a nut job. And so I keep myself quiet, but if you go through my notes, man, I've got ideas every day. Then when I really get to the point where I'm like, okay, can this happen? That's when I start sharing it with my closest allies. And then we see if we can't go make it happen, and you go from there. Next, I want to talk about for a second is that if you can dream it, you can plan it, you can do it. Is that if you've got something in your mind, and again, it comes back to where I don't want to ever say I didn't do something, is that if it's a big dream, start going into the planning stage. Write out your dream, exactly what it is. Then go into the planning stage on how the heck you're going to take and you're going to build this dream into something in reality. Then go into the execution stage. Okay, now I'm going to plan on how am I going to execute it. That's usually when you're going to find out, okay, this is real, it can happen, or oh, holy shit, there's no way this is going to happen. And don't be disappointed if you come to that conclusion. There's been a lot of times that I've come up with those ideas, and all of a sudden 5, 6, 10 years later, it comes back and we make it a reality. We just weren't ready for it when we did it. And that's maturity. is don't let the ignorance on fire get you, and go after something that you might be able to do later when you're smarter, when you have the more capital to do it, you have more time to do it, you got the wits to do it, and you got the people around you to make it happen. And so really think of it that way. And then stop waiting. And when you find yourself stalling, ask yourself why you are stalling. Be honest with yourself. Is that if you find yourself holding back, something was holding me back this entire 2020, COVID, and all that shit. It had nothing to do with COVID, nothing, zero. I had something else holding me back. And when I finally released that, and I told Diane and I told Chris, Chris, have you seen a difference in me?
Yeah, I have.
Not huge, because it's a work in progress, right?
Yeah, we're still trying to get there, but I think you literally just got something off your chest.
Yeah, exactly. And again, it was something really easy to take care of, and I was holding it in, and we have everything we need to do to get it done. We just didn't do it. And then let's talk about gut instincts, man. Chris, do you go with your gut a lot? Let me rephrase that. Do you feel you've got a really good gut instinct?
Oh, I think I have a good gut instinct. Whether or not I go with it all the time, you could always look back and go, I should have went with my gut on that. Yeah. I think you recognize it, but you're afraid to admit that your wants sometimes outweigh what your gut tells you to do. Yeah.
Especially because if it involves other people, because it's tough. But I've learned when I've got a hard gut feeling on something, I usually go with it. And it usually serves well, it usually serves well. So really start, especially if you're young or if you've been working for somebody else all your life, it's harder to develop that gut, and start developing that gut instinct, start listening to it, and then keep a scorecard. How's your gut doing? Because I know when I was younger, my gut, honestly, my gut was more innocent than it is now. And I played it out better. Now, I think to Chris's point, I kind of hold back, and usually it's because I don't want to hurt somebody's feelings, or I'm involved in other people making the decision, and I just don't want to speak out. And usually when I don't, I have this situation going on around me right now in an organization where, man, my gut was bad from day one, and I should have spoke out bolder and harder, and I didn't, and now I'm paying the price for it. And others are too. And I was really not in a position to do anything more than what I did, but I should have been more vocal about it. Now, this is a big one, is show emotions more for you introverts. So if you're kind of shy, or, you maybe you just not to, your self-confidence isn't there, is start building that up. It's okay to show emotions. Now, you tough guy, tough gal types, you got to take and lighten up, and just be able to take and show emotions. People like empathy. People like to know that you're human. On the other side, for you snowflakes, that all you do is freaking need counseling 24/7, is you got to grow a pair, man. I hate to say it, is that we're in a society that, hey, listen, I've had counseling before. I've faced some shit in life, right? And I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but Jesus, if every time you turn around, you've got a problem, is that, you need to go to your counselor, and you need to develop some gonads, and you need to stop taking and making everything and turning everything into a disaster. As simple as that. Just stop turning everything into a disaster. Not everything in your life is a disaster, because if you keep doing that, is when true disasters hits, you're going to just be floored. You're not going to know what to do, and true disasters are going to hit. And so, for those of you that are kind of shy, come on out of it. For you tough guy, tough girl types, just show a little love, show a little empathy for other people. And then for you snowflakes that are, just constantly in a upheaval over anything anybody says or what's going on in the world, is you just got to stop and slow down, and stop being so damn freaking, emotional on shit. Now, lastly, is Stop making excuses. There's no excuses. There's no reason for excuses. Live the life you dreamed of. Redream it. If you find yourself not happy, redream what you want your personal life to look like, what you want your business life to look like, and what brings you joy into your life, and start making it happen now. You can't keep going the way you're going. So with that, Chris, anything else you want to share?
Oh, just to make that change. Identify that dream and make those changes. Make the little steps. It doesn't have to be, I get reminded of that picture where they show two different ladders, one with a bunch of steps short together, one with really big steps in between. And, it's just the little steps will get you to the top and will accomplish your dreams. When the steps are too big, they're too hard to take and you won't get there.
Well, and I'll tell you, and never, always be humble. Own it when you make mistakes, but be proud of yourself. I found that out, is that if you've got to learn, and I'll tell you, last thing I want to say, and then we'll get out of here, is learn to say no. Be comfortable telling people, and I've had to do this with my own family, is, going back to when I was a kid and kind of growing up with some challenges. And it was real hard for me to say no. And I was damaging myself, my business, my direct family. With my direct family, I was damaging me. Is that you've just got to be comfortable when you're not comfortable in something, of saying no and moving on. And it's okay. But listen, I'll go down. I wish I had a tattoo. This was, no regrets spelt wrong, but I don't. Thank God.
What's really funny is I really thought about using that image, that guy from the movie, as the slide for announcing this podcast.
Yeah, and then I just did it with that. So, hey, everybody, I hope if you've enjoyed this, make a comment. We would love you to like it, share it, please, and we'd love to hear your input. And so, if this has made a difference in your life, we love to hear from people. Email us, drop us a note, follow us over on social media. We put the follow-up on it. Encourage other people. If you've got something out of it, that means other people are getting something out of it. And that's the reason, that we do it. But we want to thank, always the PNS family for making this happen, all of our supporters, Detail Mafia. Chris, thanks for coming in and making it happen and staying patient with me while we went through. And whatever I did to I don't know if I did anything. Gary's texting me right now, our neighbor. He knew I was going on the call, and he's like, "Hey man, did you get your internet up? Did you get your internet up?" He said, Mine came up. You can come over here if you need it. So, but thanks for being patient all. Have a powerful rest of the week. Go out and love on somebody. Live your dream. No regrets. We'll talk to you soon. Take care, everybody.
Yep. See you guys next week.
See ya.